Hi, this is Kelly from The Truth in Story, and today we are going to take a little bit of an unboxing for a deck that I had come in the mail today, getting ready for relationship readings for, Valentine's Day is coming up, and so I thought it would be nice to have a deck that was kind of geared towards that. Now, let me say, surprisingly, there aren't as many romantic relationship type decks out there as you might think, at least I guess ones that follow my criteria or that I would like. But what attracted me to this one is that it's the same artist who did the Tarot Muha. I wish it was in the same kind of box and things as this, but it's not. But yeah, this is the same artist, and I really love the artwork for this deck, other than the Judgment card, you guys all know. But that's one thing that really appealed to me, and it also appealed to me that the suit cards are supposed to kind of follow each 4 different relationships, with problems, and just kind of along the line there. So we'll see. I also have picked up this little heart piece of rose quartz to go on it, because how perfect is that? And this beautiful, this is all based on Victorian art style, or the Victorian era, and so I thought this, actually Katie picked this piece of fabric out as being perfect for my relationship readings that will be coming up. So let's go ahead and look at the back. Look at that. I mean, that's just beautiful. Now, it was funny because last night I was trying to catch up on some videos, and I saw that Katie Flowers had put out a video of like her haul from trading decks. And this was actually one of them, and she wasn't sure it was one that she was going to keep, but it was one that she got, and I thought that was pretty hilarious because I knew it was coming today. Look at the back, though. It's a standard box. I do like that it's this kind of fold on the bottom. I prefer those. It is Lo Scarabeo, and the artwork is by, I'm going to slaughter this, people. Guello J. Massaglia, something like that. That's terrible. But again, it is obviously based around relationships, and it does quite change from the Rider-Waite-Smith, although from what I understand, you can find the meaning there, but I think the purpose of it isn't really to try to find the meaning so much as to think about it just in terms of relationships. And I have, from a little bit of research I did, it seems to read quite well for all types of relationships. So it's a regular little tuck box. Nothing exciting there. Typical, Lo Scarabeo little white book. But I do like the little touches. I mean, it's beautifully done, and I do love that back. So, not an exciting box. I want all my boxes from Lo Scarabeo not to be like this. But we'll take it. So there we have that. The little white book is, from what I understand, a typical, so 14 pages is about all they give you for the English. It does say that each of the 4 suits of the minor arcana were associated with the city that, more than any other, is in keeping with its symbolic and allegorical value. Oh, I can't talk. I'm going to come back to this. It does talk about these cities and the way that, and the colors that they use, but let me line the suits out before we do that, so I'll come back there. Here it does kind of line them out right here as also. And then it goes into the major arcana and then the suits, but you only have 14 pages. So this is, it's pretty typical of Lo Scarabeo. It's not anything you should be surprised with when you purchase one of their decks. So let's get the plastic off. I have not seen all these cards. Katie showed some of them, but I tried not to really look too much. I did see some of them trying to just kind of figure out what deck I was going to get, but I haven't seen all the cards on this. So here's the back, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. I have some old vintage playing cards that have the style, feel of deck backings, and I just think they're gorgeous. So that's obviously the artist card, as they call that. but I do really love the backing. And then you can see that there are borders. So the Major Arcana has sort of a yellow or a gold kind of color. And then the cups have a green. We'll go into, or actually the minors all have a green. They're kind of tall and skinny. Let's see, compared to the Tarot Muha, they're a little bit, they're same height, but they're a little skinnier than the Tarot Muha, which I think is fairly typical. I don't have like a super standard deck right here because this is obviously a larger, the Bohemian Gothic. So it's a little bit of a narrow type card. Now, as you can see, there are only the numbers on the Major Arcana. They don't have the titles. I'm fine with that. You know, I think generally it's pretty obvious what they are. They do have it listed out in the guidebook as the traditional name, but they have all been changed. But again, it's not written on the card, so you know, you don't really have to go with that, or you can, you know, depending on what you prefer. So for example, the Fool is the dandy. So he's kind of blinded by love. We can see him kind of stepping out onto the back of a bird. He's all dandified up with his cane and his goofy grin, and he's got a bouquet on his head. He's a little bit jovial and just kind of relying on his instincts, it talks about. And the key word for this would be enthusiasm. So they do have like a little bit of an explanation, and then they have a single keyword that's kind of condensing the idea of it. And for this one, it is enthusiasm. He is enthusiastic about love and feeling his prospects are going to be wonderful. So then here we have the beautiful Magician. I quite love. Again, I knew I was going to like the artwork because I love the artwork with the Tarot Muha. He's, you know, this artist is a wonderful artist. I was just making sure. I looked on his, I'm like, well, I better make sure it's actually the same artist, but it is. So here we have the Illusionist, and this is about diplomacy and willpower. So it's very similar. You know, the key word is willpower, which is what we see with the traditional Magician. And we do have here the cups and the pentacles and the sword and the wand. I think that's a fantastic image of the Magician, and I love it. Here we have the beautiful Grand Lady. So this is the Grand Lady for the High Priestess. Secrets fuel the fire from under the ash. Knowing is knowing. Knowing is having, because those who know never have doubts. This is about wisdom. Again, you know, this is set in Victorian. We do have the book still there. We have the crescent moon hanging from here. We even see the black and the white pillars. So there is lots to touch to the traditional meanings, but just in this beautiful romantic Victorian style. This is gorgeous. So this is the image that we saw on the back of the box, and I think it's stunning. This would be the Empress, but this is called the Lady of the Ring, and her keyword is generosity. I know I can't read all these because I would be here forever, but I actually quite like, you know, it's about grace and kindness and a gentle soul, and those who know how to substitute seduction for strength. That strength isn't always physical, that there are different ways to be strong. And so, yes, generosity is the key word for that. Here we have a very emperor-y emperor. This is the Gentleman, and this is determination is the key word. I think that's fantastic. I miss a little bit of the nature aspect of his rulership, but I think it's gorgeous. Here we have for the Hierophant, we have the Prince of Faith, and this is about spiritual peace and self-control, actually, which is interesting. But he is holding up the lilies there, which because of Lenormand makes me think of harmony, and it does talk about needing to forgive, and that there's room for intelligent love. So I did quite like that, because again, this is all through the eyes. This is making no bones about being about relationships. Here, look at how gorgeous that picture is. So here we have the Lover's card, and we do have the three people, which I like to have. Instead of an angel, we have the Gondola person there. And this is called the Embrace, and I love the keyword is recognizing each other. So I think that's beautiful. It's that recognizing who you want to be with and who you should be putting work into. Look. Here is the Chariot, which is the country woman, which we have here up on the pile of hay, who is conviction, is it? Moving forward, dreams are pushed ahead of hope, and nothing can stop the advance. It's important to not change course. It's like kind of hold the course. You can think about bulls aren't going to be rushing off, but we do have a black and a white one. So I do like that. We have nods to the traditional. I think it's stunning, gorgeous. I'm very happy so far. Here we have the Strength card, which I adore. This is actually called Futile Efforts, and it's about commitments. But what I love is that we have the traditional one here, that sense of strength not being about physicality, strength being about internal balance and sort of healing the internal things and coming to balance with the internal and the external. Whereas we have here this man who is trying to, by brute strength, to yank the statue, and that's not going to happen. That's not going to work. This card isn't about physical strength. It's about internal strength. I think that's a fantastic card. Here we have the Hermit. So this is called the Loner. And so this, but we do still, again, we've got the lantern here. We have the man holding a lantern. And this is, sometimes solitude can make things stronger. This is about concentration. And he's got all these books about love. He's got the picture of his love there and sort of, on the road of love, doing it in a very concentrated and focused way. Look, I just love this. I'm so happy with this so far. Here we have the Wheel. This is the Departure. So, we have the wheel here, the Ferris wheel in the background, and we have the two lovers on down here. I keep losing the thing. The time of love is fickle. So this is about change and things like that. And also you can go with that whole idea that love changes. You know, when we're in a long relationship with somebody, whether it be a family relationship or love relationship, any kind of relationship changes over time. And it, like when I think of my daughter, for example, as she's turning into an adult, we're moving, and she is an adult, but as she's an adult, we're developing a different relationship than we had when she was younger. And so that idea, I think, is fantastic to have. Look at how gorgeous that is. I love his artwork. She's got like a mask almost on. She just looks stunning. She still has the scales. So this one is, I lost it. Are these out of order? Oh no, Justice, here we go. So Justice is 8. No, Justice is 11. They have it messed up in the book. So they have Strength as 11 and Justice as 8 in the book, but it is 11 and it's the other way around in the card. So that's something to note, but it's still the same thing. So here we have Balance. The name of this is Balance, and it's about responsibility, to love freely, to not be too selfish in love, and to also, in a sense, not be too free with love either, but to have that sort of balance with your relationships. Look at the Hanged Man. He looks like Houdini, all chained up here. The Trials and Tribulations of Love is the name of this one. And this is about suffering. I mean, you could also talk about sacrifice, because sacrifice is necessary. And that there is always sacrifice and compromise in relationships, as well as that idea of sometimes needing to get a new perspective on things. It can also give the connotation of being chained up in a relationship. So I think there's a lot that you could do with that. Look at how beautiful this is. So this is 13, which would be death. And this is undying love. So we have obviously someone in mourning and black coming to the tombstone here. And it is, the key word is starting from scratch. So, this is that idea of mourning what's lost, but knowing that, the sun's still coming up over here. She's still young, and, she's going to move on to new relationships. relationships, but taking the time to mourn what's been lost. So I love it. Again, very much nods to, from my opinion, you could read this quite traditionally with, you know, there's a lot of the traditional imagery that's still intact, but then when you apply it to relationships, I think it's gorgeous. Look at her. I like her little mask there and the mess that she's making. Here we have Temperance, which is called the Chalice, and this is about healing. This is knowing how to adapt, and that you have to be compassionate to other people's misfortunes. I like it. But we, again, still have the pouring of things, you know, in two different vessels there, even the water kind of running down. So we have, again, traditional images there, or symbols there. Here we have the luscious and voluptuous devil card, and this is called the Stripper. So this is that burlesque. We have the windmill in the background, makes you think of Moulin Rouge, and I won't start singing, I promise, but it does make you think that. And so this is about passion, that even in the most sincere of happiness, it says, there's always something that's perverse, so that you are wandering in the wilds of peril. Like, you know, you want to have passion in your, it's all about, you know, balance. You want to have passion in your relationship, but it can, you know, obviously if it's all about the passion and it doesn't have the key foundations, that's going to be a problem. So it's all to do with balance. So I think that's fantastic. Here we have a gorgeous tower. I mean, that tower is going down. This is called the Collapse. When hearts soar quickly on high, they know that they're risking. Catastrophe awaits the irrational, and this is about breakdowns in relationships. So that's interesting. Here we have a beautiful star card. So we have sort of the star, compass star here. And this is called the Shining Star, and it's about hope. So no one is alone when the stars are shining. I actually do quite like the writing. It's so little, you don't get much, but I do like how they've done it. And then we have, look at in Paris with the Eiffel Tower. So here we have the moon, you know, the beautiful moon, and this is called the Secret Kiss. Tender and cruel is the fantasy that dips the tips of the arrows into the poison of illusion. Ooh, this is about spells, it says, and just about, yeah, you know, you have to, don't get, you know, deluded by being in Paris with this romantic person. Again, we've got to have that base there, like knowing what is real and what's not real is very important. And we still have a little dog in there, which is kind of funny that they've got that there. Here we have the Sun card, and for once there are no children, no naked children. There is a face in the sun, but it's a lion. I quite like that. This is the Hour of Truth. I like that. The things of love become clear. The light will be long lasting. This is about clarity. It's almost like this is the top of a clock tower. You have these kind of the statues of the man and the woman there. So yeah, I quite like that. Look. Okay, here we have Judgment, which is called Beyond the Threshold. It's that time to decide whether the mind or the heart will win. This is the point of arrival. So she, you know, this is, you almost see a ship. It's like that she's coming in. The ship is coming in. Everybody's excited. Their loved ones are coming back. So that's quite interesting. I don't see as much of that sense of the traditional judgment here, although she's blowing the horn here and everybody's excited and rising up. So we have the energy of it. So yeah, actually we do have very similar, but the energy is different because it's about making a decision, and that, you know, kind of from here on forward, it's going to go, maybe go in a new direction, which I guess does also work. So yeah, look at this. I love this. Look at the world. Union is the name of this card, and it's about completeness. It was a long road, but worthwhile. We have the man and the woman holding hands and holding this up, and the happy child. I think that's gorgeous. I'm thrilled with the Major Arcana. I think those are really beautiful cards. And again, I personally think you could read with this even outside of relationships. But I think it's going to be gorgeous. I'm so excited to be doing readings with this deck. Here are our aces, which I think are stunning. Now let's talk about the changes though that we have with the suits here. So we have the Chalices, which is, the city is Venice. This is about romantic, and it's going to be a little bit ambiguous, water and feeling, and the dominant color of the deck is going to be, of the suit, is going to be yellows. Although the colors are quite muted in this deck, stunningly so, but apparently the overarching color is going to be yellow. Then for the Pentacles, it's going to be Rome, and this is going to be about romanticness and instinctive areas, of course, earth and nature. Oh, and this one, it talks about the lovers kind of being behind masks. So that's that kind of an idea of the never-ending carnival of Venice. Whereas here we have Rome, that's going to be very romantic, very earthy. The dominant color is going to be green in this one. And you're going to have more of that, you know, amidst the ruins of the eternal city, shepherdesses, peddlers, harlots, aristocrats, and youngsters all play with love. I do really like who wrote the guidebook. Here we have the wands, which look, they're walking canes, you know, the canes which you just think of with Victorian guys. I love it. This is the romantic. This is Paris. Romance, vivaciousness, gallantry, a fire. This is going to be a dominant color of red. And then we have swords for Vienna, which is going to be very romantic, but very coquettish. As well. Waltzes and cross blades and dames and knights. And the dominant color is going to be blue. So yes, I am very, very excited to see these cards. I'm really happy so far. I was kind of sure, I was comfortable with my decision when I really looked to decide what one I wanted to have. Because I also have the Taramuha, which I can definitely is very romantic, but I really liked the idea of this just, you know, being focused on relationships. So here we have the suit of Chalices. This is all taking place in the city of Venice. Like many of those Scarabeo decks, we have the icon down here at the bottom showing its chalices and the number at the top. I quite like that format, so I don't mind it. So here we have the ace, which is, you know, very traditional feeling here with the overflowing cup and things like that. This is the baptismal font, and is about feelings. Now we can see the mask to talk. This is Venice, and there's going to be lots of masks and lots of yellow tones, it says. So number 2 is going to be the toast, and this is there's some change that's going on. Soon the storms will cry to the rocks to become flesh. It's very, very dramatic. But this is about affinity, and we have sort of the two people here, and right now they're kind of separated, but they're getting ready to come together. Look at the 3 of Cups, the 3 maidens up here. This is the house of love. The body is happy when it has what it wants. The mind suffers when it understands what is missing. Balance must be found. So this is about happiness. I do love this. Here we have the betrothed. So this is one more tile and the mosaic will be complete, it talks about. But there can be boredom because this is, you know, they've kind of gone through the whole romantic phase. They are now betrothed together and things, you know, there is, you have to be careful. There's always that underlying warning of being careful not to get bored. Look at the 2 ladies. So we have the 5 of Cups, and we definitely have a fight going on here. A Venetian quarrel. This is about regrets. The peace of nighttime must end and will end. That's why they end the game and take away everything you can. Take what you can get and run, because this is not going to end well for him. So yeah, I mean, again, you know, there are going to be discord in relationship issues, and that's going to show up. So here we have the 6 of Cups, wine and beautiful women. This is about nostalgia. They're kind of thinking, you know, they have them off here in the windows. They really aren't in a relationship with anymore. They're kind of thinking about the women that they've had. So that's interesting. But when love leaves something behind, sooner or later it retraces its steps to retrieve it. This is kissing the hand. This is about illusion. So in the darkness of the night, everything seems the same. Light is needed to feel unique again. So that's interesting. So here we have the Eight of Cups. So there is that sense of going off. You can kind of get that sense that, you know, he's got his lantern here. It's been fun, but he's going to get ready to kind of go off, which you generally see. Although with the Eight of Cups, it's interesting because the way that they have it worded, I don't think really goes with this image, but I think that I don't have any issue reading with this, but it's about waiting and the return. Like maybe they just, he needs to go off and give it some time to figure out who he wants. I'm not sure, the way they have it written up, I'm not thrilled with, but it doesn't matter because I probably won't look at it after this anyways. So, oh, look at this. Very much, you know, we have them in masks. I love the birds kind of going to the glasses. So here we have the 9, the love birds. So we have the birds here as well as these here. So it's about gratification, you know, all these cups that are going on. They're in love. Although she looks a little sad, I have to say. I don't think but she's masked, so I guess you can't tell. They're having a lovely time at the party. And then here we have Serenity, which I love that. That's the name of my car. We have all the happy cats here. Everybody's in contentment. She's listening to him play from the balcony with the laundry hanging out. That's beautiful. Then for these, we have icons up at the top. And we have sort of a hat with a feather in it for the page. Let's get them all up here. For the knight, we have a horse's head. Let's see if you can see those. A horse head, we have this type of crown for the queen, and then that sort of kingly crown that you see on kings for the king, and then of course the suit along the bottom. I really don't mind this format at all. I kind of like that there's no text that interferes, and so you can just really do whatever you want. So for the, see, they call him the knave, and he is the slave to love. This is about innocence in love, and we kind of have that sort of clown a little bit idea here, but in a way that I actually like. That's quite a wonderful, lovely looking man there. Here we have the knight, and we do have a horse. He's not on it, but we do have a horse in the scene. He looks, again, they all have their masks because we're in Venice. Hold your cups high. This is about art. And we have almost, well, his mask is off here. He's kind of holding up his glass to love, that you have to take risks in love and just go for it sometimes. Look at how beautiful she is. There's a beautiful Queen of Cups, the Lady of the Dance. She's about sincerity. That's beautiful. She's taking off her mask there, see? Because she's sincere. Look at him. I quite love. He looks very, very dignified. Here we have the Moor of Venice. I love it, love it, love it. This is about experience. So this is an experience love. The wings of love are strong, and following the warm wind of desire lifts you to great heights. Yeah, he looks very kingly and very coupley, so I'm happy. Okay, so now we have the suit of Pentacles, which is centered around Rome, and apparently the color is going to focus on green. Let me find that little section again. And yes, this is the shepherdesses, peddlers, harlots, and aristocrats. I'm quite interested to see how that kind of stuff going on. So here we have Ace as the copper coin. So this is about solidity. This is about being solid. It's gorgeous too. You know, kind of sitting in a. Oh, look at them. Innocent games. So this would be the Two of Pentacles, which we don't really get that sense of balancing. So look at the little goats. What does not yet exist certainly will be. So this is about balancing. It does call it about being balanced. Maybe because her face is kind of like, look, dude, I'm not quite ready for this yet. We'll just take a step back here. This is a very sweet card, though. I do love this. Look at the Three of Pentacles. The Wanderer. This is about artistic expression. So all the ladies are around him, and he's obviously like the strong man. And he's got the links that he's holding on to. And it's the idea of it's useless to resist when love has the force of love. Look at the shepherdess. Ooh, sexy shepherdess. This is shepherdess amongst the goats. This is about cupidity. That's an interesting word. So we have him over here who is seeing her, and he is obviously being struck by Cupid's bow when he sees her. The most powerful chains are not of iron, but of air. Oh, it's wonderful. So here we have the harlot. So we had the shepherdess here, and we have the harlot. This whole scene makes me think of Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist, the musical Oliver Twist with, how's that go? Oom papa, that's how it goes. Oom papa, everyone knows. If you've got the patience, how is that? If you've got the patience, your own imagination will tell you just exactly what you want to hear. It's like a big bar scene, and we have the I can't remember her name, but she's like the harlot there. I don't know, but that's what it makes me think of. So this is about need. That we do have certain physical needs. That should be pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I need to go further. I love it. Here we have these 6 of coins. This is the painter. And this is about sharing. Look, he's painting her. He could be painting this gorgeous statue right here, but he is painting this lovely girl here. And this is about looking at the world that you've never seen before. Because she almost looks like she's got her little baskets of fruit and things. And so she looks like, she's out in the country, and she's just coming into the big city. And so, that kind of idea of venturing into something new and exciting. So I quite like that when you start to look at that card closely. And I have completely ceased to, I guess, talk about them in terms of their traditional meanings, because I'm just kind of going with it. Here we have the 7 of Pentacles, the secret rendezvous. This is about wealth. And so she's obviously running off. We can see him waiting over here in the shadows, and she is running off to meet him. Love is a star right now, it says. It begins to shine when the darkness falls, and she is going to run and full of joy, following the coins of wealth of love to meet her lover. Oh, look how happy they are. Here we have the 8 of coins, gallantry. He's carrying her through the water. Oh, I love it. It just talks about how things can fail, things can go wrong, but, knowing when to just keep trying, and again, it's going to be, it's worth it, and having a little humility and letting somebody help you. That's so sweet. Oh, I love that picture. 9 of coins here, light and shadows. Ooh. I quite like it's quite saucy what it says, but I'm not necessarily seeing it in the card. Doubts and desire melt together. Careful, you will either conquer your light or lose it. So we do have this shaft of light going here, which is obviously very important. We can see all the light spots even on the ground in front of them. And so, being careful to not lose your light. That even though your body wants to lose yourself into another person, you need to be careful not to lose your own light. Okay, well, that makes sense. I quite like that, because you can see them very involved in each other, and that's not a bad thing, but that you have to be careful not to lose yourself. I like it. Oh dear, look at, he is helping her. Here we have an amorous trap. So this would be the 10 of Pentacles. Do not tighten the laces of fortune too tight. Abandon yourself and don't ask questions. This is just about relationships in general. Obviously they have a firm relationship. He's getting ready to take her apron off so that they can let their hearts or other things take over. And I know I have to pick it up because I know this is coming long, but it's so cute. So here we have again the knave. So this is about opportunity, waiting for your opportunity. He's kind of barefoot, fancy free. Here we have the Knight of Pentacles. This is about having courage and moving forward. Officer and a gentleman, it says. And then we have look at how gorgeous she is. Look at that Queen of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Pentacles, and Ask and it will be given to you. Oh, she's beautiful. And then look at the King of Pentacles. Very kingly, very resplendent. The solitary aristocrat. Gorgeous. And then we come to the Wands, which is about Paris. And this is about romantic and vivacious kind of love. We can see the vivaciousness because somebody's got their garter strewn on top of somebody else's walking cane. So here, this is called the walking stick. And it's, it's the Ace of Love. Love at the Opera Garnier. This is about ambition. The clay, mold the clay of passion on your own form and give it to someone. The breath of love will always bring life. I quite like this because you actually have two options here. Like this could actually be a same-sex relationship that's going on here, but then this also can be a friend or a brother or somebody who is, he's in the, flush of love, and he's going to go meet his love, and he's kind of helping him get dressed and all set to go for his assignation. But it can also very easily be used for that, so I do like that. Here we have the Queen Bee, expectation. All surrounded. You can definitely see the reds in this one. We have, oops, did I miss one? They kind of mix them up sometimes. Like this is saying it's the can, but that is the 5. So they've mixed up the 5 and the 4 and the 5. So there's definitely some errors in this guidebook. So this is the 4 of Wands, which is about celebration. You can definitely see the 4 wands up there. And this is obviously about marriage of interest. Here we have the can, which is about conflict, although, I don't think there's necessarily conflict going. They've got some things mixed up because even, it's the marriage of interest, but they have conflict here. But so the conflict should be staying with the can. The celebration should be, they've swapped some things and even the keywords are off on this. So you do have to be careful with this guidebook. They needed a little more editing before putting this one to press. But this is about love calling you to the battlefield. So yeah, you can definitely see they look, can isn't a joyous thing that's going on, but this guy's got the bouquet on the back of him, behind him. He's really probably not going to find love in this situation of a can. Here we have the 6 of Wands, which is the gift. That you were not born to live inside a prison, that soon the bars will open and you'll have what you desire. So that's quite interesting because there's a lot that you could do with this card in terms of just with the imagery there because of the bird cage where you could come out of. It does talk about communication, needing to have communication to figure out if this is what you really want, but that could also be about needing to let the cage out and move on too. So there's much you could do with this, I think. Here we have meeting at the station. This is about trust, you're trusting that they're going to be there when you come, and that anticipation that takes place when you're coming from a long trip to meet your dearest love, and you're hoping that they're going to be there. Love it. I love her. Look at her sexy. Their sexy underwear covered way more than most of our regular clothes do nowadays. And look, he's got a tie around his wrist. These are having some fun. This is an amorous awakening. So nothing's going to be the same after this. There have been some things that have been awoken at this little rendezvous. Here we have the 9 of Wands. And it's like a hidden kiss. He's kind of holding his hands up here. But I love it because they look like an older established couple, but they're sneaking a kiss in. But sometimes it says sometimes you just don't need to stifle it. Just, kiss. Look at this person that's peeking over here and doesn't look very happy about it. you know, the Nine of Wands is usually like that final push that you need to get through, to kind of push through. You know, and it looks like they've had a long-term relationship, and so they may need to, you know, that kind of final push forward to keep things going. And it looks like they're accomplishing it. So this one is interesting. Again, I don't really intend to try to force Rider-Waite issues onto this deck. I just plan to just have fun with it and just use it for what it is. Here we have the Ten of Wands, which is obviously normally about kind of being weighed down, where we really don't have that sense here. So this is about this is about positive effort, that it may take some effort, like they may be long. This is at a port. I guess that's where there's ships and things. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. But they need to make effort in order to keep their relationship alive. This could be a long distance relationship, because it looks almost like, no, that's just going down the steps. He's obviously getting ready to leave, and so it's going to be difficult. Having longer distance relationships can be difficult, but just needing to put that extra bit of work that happens when you're separated. So then here we have the Knave, which is about vision. See with the eyes of a blind man. Look at the beautiful lamp post there. The Knight on his horse. Oh, look at, he looks like a jockey. This is the gallant rider. This is the Queen of Wands, all about passion, and she is the proprietor of the House of Pleasure. So we had the harlot, and now we have the Queen of the Harlots, I guess. Passion and loyalty are the secrets for leaving a mark in the heart of stone. The King is the great actor. This is about control. It says, look at all the lanterns here. Yeah, he's all kind of slouched down with his cigar. Now, this is the Swords. Now, I know it's very long, but here we have Vienna. So the Swords are about Vienna, which is romantic and kind of lighthearted with waltzes. That's an interesting card now, isn't it? Because is that decay on her hand? I guess I've been doing too much with the zombie tarot. Is that decay on her hands? Or is that like lace, is that lace on her hands? The cut rose. The blade cuts doubts and desires. The bored heart cries with no tears because it wants to fight. This is about skill. I'm guessing that is like lace, supposed to be lace on her hand. Like she's wearing laced gloves. Because I see that truthfully, and all I think about, let me put it up so you can see it better. I see that, and all I think about is like zombie rot. Because obviously I've been playing around with my zombie tarot too much, but there's a lot going on there. You've got the blade cutting, the rose, you've got a little bit of blood on the sword, you have the seasons that are around here, and it does talk about the blade cutting doubt and desire, that sort of the blade of the mind, because this is about the intellect, right? Kind of cutting through things. That's quite interesting. I'll have to sit with that a little bit. Here we have the Two of Swords, which is quite interesting because we have the heart kind of going through, the swords through the heart, which we normally see on the Three of Swords. However, I do quite like that, the two-headed eagle, because it's about kind of knights and chivalry and things like that. And this is called the Sheath, and it's about choice. You know, whether you're going to sheath your sword or pull your sword out is a choice. And I do apologize. I know it sounds like somebody's mowing, but I'm going to plow through. Here we have the beautiful, look at the Three of Swords. There's a duel that has happened, and clearly she is not very happy with the winner. So she has that sense of loss, and she has lost the person that she's loved. You know, these could be a married couple, and this is her true love, because this was an arranged marriage, and he called her true love out and killed him, and now she's stuck in this arranged marriage in which she will have no love. That's what I see. Here we have the Four of Swords, the Viennese waltz. I mean, what gets more romantic than that? I cannot waltz. I mean, I can parody a waltz, but I love music with the waltz tempo, and I will waltz around the house all of the time. There are some wonderful country songs that have beautiful waltzes to it. So this is the Four of Swords, dying and being reborn many times as a circle of the waltz. A step back, two forward, and then backwards again. So it's that sort of, that's quite beautiful. It's like knowing when to step back and then move forward. It's a dance. I love that, actually. Here we have Swan Lake. This is the soul cries. It was humiliated, but it does not want to admit it. It regrets the time of forgiveness not granted. So he definitely has some regret. He's got his bouquet that he was going to obviously be giving to his love, and there something that happens, and he was turned away, and he's kind of tossing his things in there. So this is number 6, Sonata for 4 Hands. Don't be afraid of a kiss, la la la, about passage, which to me this card says nothing about passage. But there is that sense, it's a song that's made to play for 2 hands. So you're not meant to do this alone, you're meant to do this with somebody else, which we do see in the traditional 6 of Swords. Here we have the courtesan. Oh, look how lovely she is, and resplendent and bored. This is about deception. We have the 7 swords here that are going around. But is she there for intrigue? Is she there to help her country by being a spy? You just don't know with the 7 of swords what is the intention behind the deception. Here is in the Crypt of Cappuccini. So this is the 8 of Swords, and so she's kind of, looks like she's trapped back here. We have traps in various ways, right? We have the swords here, but we also have her in maybe a nun's habit and sort of being trapped in that way. We have this man that is behind her. We have this beautiful thing that's going on here in the cross. There are various ways in which she's trapped, and we have her arms folded, but she can walk away. She can walk away from a variety of different, I quite like this. I think this, like, you can work with that. So here we have the 9 of Swords. This is quite interesting because generally you see somebody quite like in the midst of a nightmare. And she is somebody that clearly finds herself trapped in a nightmare. She looks very sad, and she's watching him put this necklace around her neck. She obviously loves him, either was, that was her lover, or she just has built up this love for him in her mind that may never even have been in his mind, because this is the swords, it is the 9 of Swords, so she could just have built this whole idea of how things were going to be, and now he's obviously with this person and she is trapped in this nightmare. So yeah, that works. Here we have the 10 of Swords, which is so sad. Look at, of course we don't know she's dead. Wake up. Nope, it's goodbye. It's time for goodbyes. The spirit leaves, abandoning the 5 senses between the sheets. Wounds. So he's wounded and she's left. Yeah, so that's very sad. Very sad indeed. Here we have the Knave of the Slave of Love. This is about intelligence. We have the, look at him. Look, he's got a fan over that has been captured on his sword. The Champion and his reward. This is a bit more aggressive love here. You need strength and ability to pursue the north wind, it says. Ooh, look at her. I don't know why they always kind of make the Queen of Swords look so bitchy, because I consider myself to be, I resonate with the Queen of Swords, and I really don't consider myself to be like a bitchy person. And she always looks a little bit wicked and a little bit cruel. And I don't mind the coldness, because I do think there is a detachment that can happen, because the Queen of Swords is often known pain and problems, and so there can be that sense of stepping back, but their empathy is still there. And so she, I guess she doesn't look too bad. She could just be that mask that sometimes the Queen of Swords do wear, that mask, because they have known pain. So we have that. And look, it's lovely. That makes me think of like a czar or something, just the way he's a man of honor. It's about order. And I do love me King of Swords. So there we have it. There were a couple cards, obviously, I had to kind of wrap my head around, but I think that once you don't work too hard to make it like the traditional meanings, you can see them. You can find them there, and or just to let the deck be what it is. It doesn't need to be, it's not meant to be a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. It's meant to be, following relationships. So let's see how this is going to shuffle. And I am not going to be able to do a reading. I will do a separate, they shuffle nicely. They almost have a little bit of like a playing card feel. There's like a rough to the edges. I don't actually mind. Oh. Now, you will see I actually have my booklet for the Zombie Tarot out because there is a heart reading that I want to do there. But let's take a quick look. Yeah, because the reading that's whatever this is right here, I mean, that to me does not look exciting whatsoever, whereas a spread that looks like a heart looks much more exciting. So we're going to give that one a try just to see, although most likely it will get cut out of here because we, or I, have taken way too much time. So in this particular reading, you have the central issue in the relationship. Oops, I got this mixed up here. The central issue in the relationship here, which is interesting, that's the Wheel of Change. So there's obviously been some change that's been going about. Although I love how we have the shadows here holding hands. That's just amazing. The second card is about how you, or the person you're reading for, sees the other person. And here we have the Three of Cups. So we have a very much a happy feeling. You can see them all even gazing down on them. So there's certainly that sense that they see this other person in a very positive way. And then the third card is about how they might see you, which seems a little bit more interested in. No, this is actually a card that is about stability. It's that sense of having made a life together. So, you just have this kind of married couple here that are comfortable together. So that was the 3. And then the 4 represents an unknown influence on the relationship. And so here we have the 6 of Pentacles. This isn't the 6 of Pentacles, the 6 of Cups. What do I know? What do I know about anything? It's the 6 of Cups, which is generally about nostalgia, and they're kind of thinking about past loves. So there may be, and also, it's that sense of looking at things through the eyes of freshness, like a new relationship again. And so that could be a hidden influence, is maybe looking back on how things were and it's just not matching up anymore. And so there may need to be a refreshing of the vibe in the relationship so that it can kind of reform itself back to the way the things were. Not, of course, you don't want to go backwards, but sometimes you want to reinfuse that energy back in. And then number 5 represents where you want the relationship to go, which is interesting because we have the 9 of Swords here. So that would tell me that this would be in shadow, of course. And so there are some anxiety and things that are going on in the relationship, and what you would like is to have that go away. You would like a reduction of that kind of thing that's going on currently in the relationship. That's how I would see that. Number 5 we have represents where you want the relationship to go. Oh, yeah, I just did that. Okay. 6 then is going to be who can help in this relationship, or even what can help. What is it that can help here? And we have the Ace of Wands. So, and this is the Wands. This is some passion. This is, kind of, again, we talked about, or here, breathing kind of new life, getting a new light as the eyes of a fresh and new thing. And this is kind of breathing some new life in the more physical aspect of things, I would say. Very important stuff here. And then the 7th position would be the challenges in your relationship. And here we have the King of Pentacles. So maybe things are too grounded. Again, we need some spark back. We need some freshness back. And so some of the challenges can be that maybe there's too much stability there. It's gone a little bit, you know, like the fours where, you know, it's good to be stable, but if you go too far, you start to look bored and things just kind of, or it could also say that you need some stability. So obviously this would depend on, let's see, what factors would that would depend on. Obviously what somebody had told me about the situation at hand, because that really could go either way. I might clarify this because it could lends me to believe, because this is showing up here in terms of the what is this? Something that can help by breathing passion in. And then over here with the nostalgia card, this was in the position of, you know, this is influencing that need to have something. Of course, that could also, no, it's nostalgia, it's looking back. So it could also be past relationships kind of haunting the thing. But there is that sense, because of the Six of Cups, which for me is breathing new life in, and this is almost like breathing new passion in, I would say that things have become a little bit too stable to the point where it's kind of dulling things down and needs to be some reviving. And then we have the last card, which is going to be the outcome as things kind of stand, taking in mind the rest of the reading, you know, if you heed these kinds of things. And so we have a great card because this is the Nine of Cups. This is the Nine of Chalices. This is about having fun again. These are the lovebirds. So that if you kind of take things back to the way things were at the beginning of the relationship, breathe new passion in, and then what are you going to get? You're going to have a great time and things are going to be joyous again in the relationship. So there we have it. That is, I love this spread. I actually have done this with the Zombie Tarot as well because I knew I was going to be doing some relationship spreads, and I love that it's shaped like a heart. And so yes, I'm really excited to be doing it actually with this particular deck. So here, this has been a look at the Romantic Tarot by Lo Scarabeo. The book is by Emanuela Signorini and the artwork by Giulia F. Massagalia. I am so sorry to this poor person because I'm slaughtering their name and I love their artwork. And so this has been a look at that. I will say again, with terms of the guidebook, there was definitely some errors there. There were some swappings around where they weren't matching up. So, you know, a little bit more editing could have been used on the guidebook for sure, but it's nothing that you can't kind of work out once you're aware of it. But overall, I really like what I saw. I'm excited to do some readings with this, and I will be offering, be doing this particular reading for a Valentine's Day week in the shop because yes, must do so. So have an absolutely wonderful day.